I still got plans that I never spoke. A lot of rhymes that I never wrote. A lot of dreams that I never lived. But if I think about it, then I mean I really did. Just not yet. I used to wish that I was here now. Smooth sailing on my own boat. I'm about to jump up on another plane. Right before I take another tote. It's all love. If you here, you done been through it. It's your business if you into it. If it ain't mine, I ain't into it. So I don't care what you meddling. You can say what you peddling, cause niggas ain't easily influenced. I'm about to take another long drive, cause it helped me get a clear mind. So while you staring at your watch, I'll be looking at the sun. Yeah, I'm moving on real. I used to wish that I was here now. Smooth sailing on my own boat. About to jump up on another plane. Right before I take another tote. I used to wish that I was here now. Smooth sailing on my own boat. About to jump up on another plane. Right before I take another tote. I used to wish that I was here now. Smooth sailing on my own boat. About to jump up on another plane. Right before I take another tote. I used to wish that I was here now.
Yeah, you're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to facebook.com, New Haven Independent, or go to your Facebook page and look us up. Uncle Lou, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, brother. I'm also live on my Facebook feed.
All right. Are we on live? I can't. Are we? Okay, good. I usually like looking at myself, but that's
because
okay.
You're narcissistic.
No.
We love you, Joe. How was your weekend, my brother?
Oh, my weekend was good. It was a wild weekend, I guess you could say.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I went to a dinner on Friday night.
Yes,
a special dinner, and it was very, very interesting. Those that bring back memories. Speaking of that dinner, that was the dessert.
I heard.
So anyway, yeah. So it was a nice Italian meal, medicated, private function. And I got to tell you, they did a good job medicating that meal. I had the garlic bread was stupendous. Pasta sauce was all medicated, and it was nice. It was a nice private little gathering at a dab bar, and they did those challenge cones. You ever seen those things?
Yes,
it's this damn long, about a half ounce. Anyway, all medical patients, all legit, up and up.
Very nice.
I will tell you that I woke up the next morning still feeling.
You woke up with that, edible hangover-ish feeling?
Yeah, because, that's not my normal thing. But anyway, the next day, of course, I went up to Massachusetts to the RB Festival.
Yep.
And that was quite a scene, too. It was packed.
Yeah,
it was packed up there. 70 vendors.
Yeah, they have the stake ground up there. There's another fairground as well now that's embracing it. And there's another event going to be hitting a fairground in Massachusetts as well, so...
Oh, okay.
That's pretty cool. There's one for Halloween, and then there's there's a lot of people checking in on my Facebook feed, actually.
Well, that's good.
Lou's also here. He's got his Gene Trader event over at
I really want to, we should have him on. Let's have him on.
We're definitely going to have Lou on within the next week or two, hopefully, and we can talk about
I want to talk
really
about how he's going to do that, how he's going to work it out here in this
awesome things.
The fine state of CT.
So
I'd love
really
to hear
excited about that.
I'd love to get involved in that as a sponsor, a vendor, or something.
Yep, all of that is 100%. And
so that's not until March though, next year. Right?
February
of next year, yeah.
Okay, Lou said he's down any day that we want.
Okay, so maybe next week.
Already next week.
There you go, maybe next week
between 1 and 2, and we'll make that happen. Thanks, Lou.
Yeah. I would love to talk about that. That's a very interesting part of the field. That because we're in Connecticut, we don't get.
It's a genetic type of thing, but it's so much. Let him explain it all. He's the man.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than that, the weekend went well.
Yeah, it was
fun. I had a nice week. We had a nice week in general.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was nice.
Hey, here's Kira. We had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. And then now we're back to Monday. How about you?
I did very well. The weekend was good. Low key. Kind of just stayed in with the family and such.
Okay.
Saturday, instead of going up to Mass, we stayed local. I ended up meeting up with a bunch of other local patients, and we just kind of had a barbecue. That was about it,
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it was, stayed local.
Yeah.
Kind of low key.
How about you,
Keeper's in. Hi.
What's
hey.
the question?
Hello. We're just recapping
the weekend and what's going on with us.
Oh, So yeah, Friday I heard y'all when I was coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I will have one. Friday, that was fun. Coming to going to that private event.
Yeah.
And I left there feeling really dandy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very nice.
And then Saturday, I was supposed to be at a community event, but things kind of went a little awry, so I wasn't able to do that. But yesterday, I got the keys.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. I
Yes.
saw a little video about I got the keys.
Yeah, so really like lucked up on a very good space.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on a very great street, and they're really it was someone that I had certified. They're building, and so they're really
Is it around here?
Oh no.
It's in Connecticut though, right?
It is in Connecticut.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
Well, why don't you make the announcement right on the show?
Well, I want to announce with the actual date, and the date depends on the work.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
waiting to get the actual.
Okay. Well, how
date.
about a little bit in? How far is it, north or south?
We will be traveling
North. Okay. All right.
But you guys, I'll definitely tell you.
Yeah,
all.
afterwards. I know.
And
we
then,
just didn't get a chance. To
yeah, we
chat.
just didn't get a chance to talk, but we will be announcing pretty soon. But I'm really excited about it. It'll give us an opportunity to serve another community and give people access to quality medicinal grade cannabis and keep them safe from criminalization.
Right.
So these are all things that
help build the program out here.
And we need to do a little bit more. What are we at? 28,000 patients.
Yeah, we need to get over 50.
Actually, we'd love to help all the other 25,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but seriously. No, but it was kind of like a restful weekend for me.
Good. Yeah, so we had a lot of fun. But anyway, so the big news, I guess, in cannabis, I guess you all heard last week about CBD, right? Big news. CBD now has been rescheduled to Schedule 5. And so everybody in the CBD industry was all worried about, oh my God, are we going to get shut down? Well, it looks like that's not going to be the case.
No.
The DEA, the actual way it reads is it is reclassifying FDA approved drugs that contain CBD derived from cannabis and no more than 0.1% tetracannabidiols. That will be Schedule 5. So really what they're doing is opening the way for this new drug,
100%,
to be sold on the market.
All over the country.
Pretty much.
For shipping, for transportation, for everything.
I think I saw that someone on that who's taking that particular pill, Epidiolex,
really
would pay up to $35,000 a year.
Yeah, well, this is in here, right here now. So it says the price of Epidiolex is expected to be in line with other epilepsy-related medicines. So this is in line with what everybody else is paying for regular pharmaceuticals. A whopping $32,500 a year.
And that's that's what they're paying now.
But would that have to be out of pocket, or would this be covered because of this descheduling or rescheduling?
They said patients with insurance could spend about $200 a month.
Yep. So insurance is going to pick it up because they scheduled it to 5.
I mean, nice-ish.
Ish, but it opens it up for everybody because of the way they reclassified it. A CBD line like Joe's or something it becomes even more federally legal because shipping it now becomes almost zero
we pity
problem.
The fool that try to run up and say something about what we
about
doing
some
in CBD now.
That's right. And it goes back to those arrests. Remember, not more than 2 months ago, we were looking in like Kentucky. Or
where they shut down all the CBD stores.
Now that's been clearly fixed. Now, now they can sell the product without a problem. And, this is big news, but it hasn't even made big news. You know what I mean? We're spreading it through our channels and everything, but it's not something that's like on CNN. They have a lot of other things to worry.
No, they barely made the big news.
Busy.
Yeah.
But it says
Harry's not here. We miss him. That would have been a nice one to go with.
Busy with trials and stuff.
Oh, man.
Well, it says right here, if from hemp, the DEA admits it's not a controlled substance. Since Congress never actually scheduled any natural cannabinoid. Those artisanal CBD products are less controlled now. So it does not affect the ones that are made from hemp. The stuff.
Artisanal. Isn't that an interesting word they use?
Yes. So hemp people who are selling hemp-derived CBD, it says the DEA's announcement and related statements have no bearing on the status of hemp-derived CBD. Now, what also this article says is that the Farm Bill was supposed to completely legitimize and legalize hemp-derived CBD on a federal level. It was supposed to be passed by this Saturday, by the 30th, but it was delayed because of a political argument over whether to mandate work requirements of food stamp recipients. So I guess the food stamp program is covered under the Agriculture Department for some reason. And this is the Agriculture Department's bill, their budget every year. It was supposed to be passed by September 30th. In that bill, it legalized hemp and including CBD products made from hemp. But apparently they're trying to get people, the Republicans want to put a mandate in that bill for people who are receiving food stamps to be required to work a certain amount of hours a week part-time in order to qualify. So that's a very interesting thing they're trying to do, and this is what's holding up the Farm Bill from being passed. So
that's got nothing to do with cannabis or hemp or anything. And that's something. So, or now I'm a lay person in this topic because I don't know.
Right.
I thought that there was some type of work or community service associated with that, right? Like
with getting food stamps?
Yeah.
Or no, not necessarily.
No,
it sounds like they're gonna make that
that's probably
that in and of itself. I don't really have.
I don't think most
problem with. But I do feel like it's a further way to put people in a position that they're not ready for.
Right.
You know, I think some other things should have been an element, like if you go to school, you know, or something like that. Because if you get a dead-end job, just enough to make, you know, they're not really fostering independence. They're actually probably encouraging more dependence.
So that's something model. Like if somebody goes, okay, well, if I get a 15-hour-a-week job, I can now collect in this bill. I'm just talking late because I don't know. They wouldn't want to get a job that's 40 hours a week now because then they would lose that benefit and then push the system forward.
Well,
it's a mighty web.
That's a possibility, but they might not be able to find a better job too.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, there's so many, like I said, mighty web. There's so many. It's an intricate, very.
It's just,
give us our hemp.
Yeah. Let's just. But, you know, something that was interesting I wanted to bring up from a couple weeks ago when we spoke about the individual cough singer, I believe was her last name, who sued the...
sued the state. Or sued that company for not hiring her because she had a positive test.
And she has a medical cannabis card.
So I actually did a panel at the New Haven Chamber of Commerce, and it was surrounding that particular issue. So we had an interesting conversation and some interesting elements for people to know about employment or when you're seeking employment. Did you know that if you're drug tested, that the drug testing company is supposed to contact you first if you're positive?
Really?
Interesting.
And when I was on the panel with the HR exec and a lawyer.
Oh, okay. They should know.
Yeah, and they broke it down. So if the way it should be set up here in the state, number one, you cannot be randomly tested at any job.
Oh, really?
Any job. That's illegal. They can only test you outside of pre-employment if they have some suspicion of you being under the influence. So that's the way that they can initiate a random test. Now, if you're a firefighter, I'm about to say drug dealer, firefighter, police officer,
right?
You first responder or something.
Those
they can use
any,
you know, any reason is.
But that's interesting to know. So first, you can't be randomly tested by your job. If you were tested upon employment, unless you come to work, obviously or they're suspicious of you being under the influence. That's a possibility. The second is when you do apply for a job and you take a pre-employment drug test.
Right.
The company is supposed to contact you prior to contacting the employer. If you are contacted and you're positive and you present your card, you are supposed to be considered a pass as opposed to a fail.
Oh.
Any other way that this comes to fruition, that comes to light that you were positive, is illegal, essentially.
Wow.
So it should never even get that far. But once an employer offers you employment, first of all, don't take any pre-offer drug tests.
Okay.
Drug tests should be post-offer. And once they made that offer of employment, if you come back positive, they are obligated to continue offering you that job. Obligated.
As long as you're a medical patient.
As long as you're a medical patient. Excuse me. Yes, let's make that very clear.
Yeah.
As long as you're a medical patient. But one thing I was saying, they were talking a lot about concerns that employers have about like driving to work under the influence of cannabis and all those other things. And I said, the bottom line is at this juncture, even though I know that employers don't have a lot of time, like I am an employer and I don't have time to do much of anything. But if this is going to be something that you want to be, that you're worried about or concerned about as an employer, then you need to allow them the opportunity. You need to educate yourself.
Yeah.
Like education is very important. And that was one of the things. So, the concerns that they have really are not really real concerns.
They're more those shallow concerns, right? And education can shine a light into all of them.
Exactly.
And that's why we have you.
Our caller is here now.
Okay.
We have Brian.
Another proponent of education. Brian.
Well, I want to talk to him a little bit about what we were just talking about. Brian?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hi, Brian.
Hey, we were just, how are you, my friend? Brian, this is Brian Ascentier from Consult of Connecticut.
Our good friend.
Our good friend, Brian. Brian, what's happening with you? Tell us a little bit about yourself for our listeners.
Been going crazy with you guys, basically.
Yeah, I know you were at the party Friday.
So, just trying to finally get my feet back under me and get settled in again. But we got so much going on here.
Yeah, I know.
But I was listening, and Kibra is 100% correct with everything she was just saying about employment and everything, too. Because I did an OSHA seminar a few months back, and that was all of the things that they were saying about, getting drug tested and when and how they're supposed to contact you and everything, too. Because the thing with cannabis is it's such a gray area for a lot of these people because they just see it on a federal level. They're not paying attention to state laws and everything. So they don't know how to react if somebody comes up testing positive, and they're just used to notifying the employer and going on about their business. But because this is they cannot take that job away from you if it's a medical reason you're doing it, just like taking opiates or anything else. That's why they can't rescind that offer at that point. So,
well, to me, just the fact of testing somebody, a pre-employment test, is almost unconstitutional. I mean, you're going to drug test me, as far as I'm concerned, violate my privacy just for you to consider me to work with you. That seems very unconstitutional. Like Heber said, you're not supposed to do it pre-employment. You're supposed to do it post-employment. Offer, right. Offer. And these people were doing a pre-employment offer. And to me, that just seems unconstitutional or unethical because, and costly.
But now knowledge is power. So if you don't know, you'll submit. I mean, even me, whenever they have told me to go take drug tests and I didn't really think about, well, did you get it in writing first, or whatever. I just have gone because I thought that's what I had to do. But knowledge is power. Knowing, that you have options is really important. And I think there's something that Brian was saying that made me think about another element to this, but it just was biases. At the end of the day, as employers, we shouldn't come with our biases. And I think that happens a lot with cannabis and employers. They're like, oh no, instead of again, educating yourself, really knowing. Like, I'd rather have a employee that is a medical marijuana patient that has gone through that process, because what I had said to these HR people is that's a responsible employee.
Right.
You could just go. Yeah. We could get cannabis anywhere, off the street.
Would you
whatever.
rather have a black market user?
Right. You have someone who has done their due diligence, gotten certified. Is probably is going to the dispensary, is able to really use cannabis as medicine. Who knows the cannabis they need during the day? Who knows the cannabis they need at night? That's a good employee.
Yeah.
Ultimately. So it's about education with employers. But let me tell you, you start messing with our medical marijuana patients around here, we got lawyers for that. Like, we're not having it. Like, people need to be able to work and be able to consume their medicine as needed.
Oh, that's very true.
Safely and responsibly, of course.
That's very true. Brian, let me ask you, as a former employee at a medical dispenser, employer and employee, was it par for the course for them to drug test over there? Was that part of their methodology of hiring people, or did they not bother within the industry?
They did not. Because there was just, they didn't feel as though it was necessary. Especially, a lot of the people in the industry are very possibly going to test positive, and I think that all of us can attest to the fact that within this industry, you cannot judge a book by its cover. I was saying about biases and all that kind of stuff. I mean, in the cannabis industry specifically, you cannot look at somebody and know whether or not they're a good person, a good business person, great at what they're doing or not. So you really shouldn't be doing that out in public. But when you're talking about these, mainstream jobs where you're getting drug tested and everything, like Kieber said, knowledge is power. People are there trying to get a job that they probably need or really want, so they're willing to do whatever they have to. But it's thought about, and when I did the OSHA seminar, one of the things I brought up to them is, let's forget about opioids and all that other kind of stuff, because opioids, if you have a script for it, nobody ever finds out that you're even taking it. And most employers would rather their employees are not on opiates. It's going to make them very inefficient, forgetful, all the other issues. But let's take Benadryl, for instance, right? You're having allergies and you take a Benadryl before you go to work. You're going to be passed out, tired, and inefficient from that. And these are things that are completely acceptable, but they're not considering. But the other thing that I really kind of, you saw their eyes open up is, there's a complete, like Kieber was saying again, these are your responsible patients, people that are going to be a good employee because they're going about this the right way. Well, there's also a huge difference between use and abuse. There's medicating, and then there's abusing a medication. And that can happen with any medication whatsoever. So just because they're using a medication, that could mean that they're going to be more efficient, a better employee and everything too. So, it's all very relative to the person you're dealing with in those situations. It's just unfortunate that the companies doing the testing don't know their own laws that they should be abiding by.
Exactly.
Right.
But this is going to be a slippery slope for them if they, they're going to have to, because people are, number one, precedents are being set, and people are really becoming more knowledgeable about their rights as patients. And because of me and you,
right,
and you on the phone. And so I think it's just important that, everybody knows what it is. You know your rights and your responsibilities, and it's about to be on if you come up against us.
That's it.
Talking tough over here today.
Well, we have been speaking up a lot more. So, Brian, I'm sure you've heard about CBD being rescheduled.
Yeah.
From your point of view as a pharmacist, what effect will this have on the legal CBD market that we're all engaged in?
I think it makes it murkier, to be honest. It's kind of crazy, because I was just reading a couple minutes ago as I was looking up some stuff on this. Where'd it go? Of course, I don't have it here now, because it was saying that, oh, here it is. So you were saying that everything looks cleaner now for the CBD market, but there's also, they said very specifically that it's still not legal to make CBD in the U.S. The DEA said bulk cannabis material used to make the Epidiolex formulation, as opposed to FDA-approved drug product in finished dosage form, will remain in Schedule 1. So
so it didn't change it. That's basically what it's saying. We're still in the same murky water.
Exactly. And it's, it really kind of murks it up even more, because if it is a Schedule 5 and you're talking finished drug product, you're talking the products that are being put onto the market. So it's very possible that if somebody really gets a bug up their butt and wants to come chasing after people, they could. They're leaving that door open. Now, should it be easier? Yeah, but the thing is if GW Pharmaceutical is smart, then they're going to push them to go after all these other CBD makers, because it's costing them money and patience and everything else too. So it's a very weird, slippery slope we're wading into here. But and with it being a Schedule 5, it just it gives the pharmaceutical companies much more control over everything that happens with it at this point too.
This is true. Yeah, my understanding was that it would not affect the hemp-derived CBD products, because I guess it says cannabis, derived from cannabis in the actual ruling.
Right, and but they, because of what they're saying, that it says, what I'm reading right here is a quote. It says that the bulk cannabis material used to make the formulation will remain in Schedule 1. So that to me means, that's going to include hemp and anything that lands in that, less than 0.1% THC. It could very easily land under that. And I think you're going to need to see some court cases work themselves out so precedent can be set there before anybody's going to really know. But if the Farm Bill goes through the way it should, then there's really not much of anything to worry about anymore. But
there's a delay on that, though.
To worry about.
They were supposed to do that by yesterday, by September 30th, and now it's delayed. They're too busy with, sexual harassment claims and everything. They're too busy with things like that. They can't worry about passing the Farm Bill, God forbid.
They don't want to take care of the people. That would be,
Ridiculous. Well, apparently there's something really that the Democrats and the Republicans can't agree on about a work mandate for people who want food stamps. So, I don't know what the exact wording of that is, but that's what's holding it up. It's not about the hemp. They finally got an agreement about the hemp, because there was one senator, and it's, of course, Grassley, the same guy that was over there with the hearing, wanted to take CBD out, and the other senator said, no, we're leaving CBD in it, and they did. They overruled him. So, I mean, this bill would legalize CBD and just make it unscheduled.
Right.
But they can't get it signed because of this other thing. And it's a shame that, these things have to be tied into each other. I don't understand why the food stamp program is under the agriculture program.
I thought it was under the Department of Health and Human Services.
Yeah,
no?
It's agriculture.
Sheesh.
They tie them to weird bills to try and sneak things through, because if people they get the agricultural bill across their desk, they may not pay as much attention as they do to the Health and Human Services bill. Do you know what I'm saying? It might not affect their constituents quite the same way. So they've been known to do this, where they'll just drop little snippets in here and there in these other bills to try to squeak them by, and that doesn't surprise me at all.
No, that's just true. But it's a shame, this could really make a big difference, for the hemp industry, and be nice to get it through.
I don't think it's going to change anything over the next month or two.
No.
I mean, there's enough going on here with, the government in general they're not going to have the resources, nor are they interested in going after your CBD makers. But, if they can get the hemp bill taken care of, then, GW doesn't have enough time to convince the government to mount an attack. You know what I mean?
Right. So it's all politics, and it is election season. We have to always remember that, and they tend to be a little slower during this time of year because they're busy with their campaigns and stuff. They've got to make sure they get elected.
Yeah. Well, the guy last night was the one that came from the Republicans to compromise on the deal to do the 1 week FBI investigation.
Yeah.
Said flat out that because he's not running next year is the only reason he was able to cross party lines to do that, because it would have been political suicide for him to do that if he was planning on running next year.
Well, thank God for a guy like that, because
you know. But it's sad that that's how they make their decision.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's how our legislators made their decision this year about voting on tolls and about voting on legalized cannabis, was because it was an election year and they didn't. And of course, that's how they do it. And thank God for this guy, because I'll tell you what, regardless of the sexual harassment claims, he showed on there that he just doesn't have the temperament to be a Supreme Court judge. I'm sorry. He acted like a baby. And that should be more of a concern to Republicans and Democrats, you know.
Absolutely.
Forget about the sexual harassment. Put that aside. Look at him. Look at the way he performed on there. I mean, he was sniffling quite a bit, and that's all I'm going to say. And from somebody who formerly used to use that, I would say that was not a cold. And you see, you know, the way he was moving around.
Trying to get hopped up for the hearing.
Yes, I'm telling you, he's one of those old school '80s guys who hasn't given it up.
Kavanaugh can't get the break.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you. Well, look at how he was moving around like woo woo. You know, I mean,
psycho.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that guy deciding on anything. I'm surprised he's still a regular judge. I would not want.
I don't understand why this is still a conversation.
Yes.
Like, why would you even want to put someone in position with all of these issues and possibilities?
Yeah.
Like, when, you know.
It's not like they're going to make him take a drug test or anything.
Look at our president. I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, does he have to take a drug test for this job?
Not at all.
Are they going to inform him first or the employer?
That's right. Yeah,
Joe,
should make them all take a drug test.
Pay the bills, Joe.
Oh, yeah, real quick, Brian, before we continue. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to Facebook.com, New Haven Independent, or just go to your Facebook page and look us up. So, Brian, we get to the point now where, I mean, really, the bottom line is education about this stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've been out there talking to the people. I've been out there, Kibra. We've all been out there trying to educate the public. And we finally got a bunch of classes together here in New Haven. And you are going to be teaching one of them.
For the second round.
Yeah. This is the second time we did it. Last time was in Bridgeport. This time is in New Haven. We're moving around. You know, maybe next time we'll be up in the new office that Kibra's going to announce. But yeah, you are going to be teaching people how to work in a dispensary. Tell us a little bit about what that entails and what you're going to be teaching people.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, just kind of every aspect of what it is to work in a dispensary. You know, it's not like going to Walgreens and working in a pharmacy there. It's not like, you know, working at McDonald's or anything like that. You're almost expected to know a whole heck of a lot more here than you are in any other space, because people really come looking for your opinion, your recommendations and everything. Just because you work there, they assume you have a certain amount of knowledge. So it's really important how you talk to them, you know, what your recommendations are, what you're using for the basis for that, and really trying to get an idea of what the patient's looking for. So, you know, you're not just recommending what might be the strongest thing. You also have to be very careful of, you know, well, is this going to be too much for them? Be able to have conversations with them regarding CBD, THC, THCA, CBN, CBG, you know, all of the different delivery methods and how long they take to kick in, how long their duration of action is and everything. So this way you can really help the patients come up with an actual regimen of what they're doing, you know, being knowledgeable on all of the different strains and what to expect from each one of them, because the patients are going to come in with all kinds of questions about that too. And not only that, but, you know, the fact that it's not always the same strains that are available either. So, you know, we have to be able to change the patients from one to another, have options for them when they come in and, you know, what might be appropriate based on what they've used before, what they're looking for, those kind of things. You know, just every aspect of it, really trying to get into some information on each of the type of disease states and what patients are likely to present with each of the conditions and everything too. So just really give them an idea of what it's like, plus what the the atmosphere is, behind the scenes, what some of the regulations are that they're going to have to deal with that they may have never realized before or anything either, and just the laws that don't apply anywhere else for any reason or anything. So,
well, like real quick, I don't know if people know, you have to be a registered pharmacy tech in the state of Connecticut just to even work in the front counter of a dispensary. Not to,
correct.
There are management positions, there are back, behind the scenes positions that you may not need to be a pharmacy tech for. Am I correct? Like management, like a manager, an office manager, or something like that. But for the most part,
if you're doing like bookkeeping, social media, stuff like that, if you're not having any actual patient interaction, then you don't need to be a pharmacy technician. But because Connecticut set it up as a pharmacy model and required pharmacists to be the dispensary managers, they also thought it would be good to require pharm techs to be necessary to be on the front lines there, speaking to patients and everything too, which kind of ridiculous, but it is what it is. So we work with it. But yeah, you do have to be a pharm tech to work the counter and whatnot. So it's okay in that you have an idea of what people are talking about when it comes to other medications and stuff like that. But it doesn't mean that you have any idea what you're talking about when it comes to cannabis. And that's even if you are knowledgeable.
Well, I got to tell you, now I find it to be better. I do find that the pharmacy techs to be much more knowledgeable than they were when the dispensaries first opened. I mean, I literally, and you know which dispensary I went to, and you were good. You were there. You were good. But one of the girls who were taking care of me, I asked her, like, where were you before then? She's like, oh, CVS, and do you have any cannabis education? No, not really. I'm like, but this was 4 years ago. I mean, it's obviously improved since then. But I think it's real important that people also know if they're going for a job in the industry here, and we've been talking about this before, felonies. If you are a convicted felon, you are precluded from working in a dispensary or a grow facility, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. And the weird part there is we have actually had people that we have hired. We have sent their information to the state. The state did their background check, approved that hire. And then, we sent the information to our bank so that the bank could get them on payroll and everything else. Well, the banks do their own background checks, and the bank came back after this guy had been working there for about 4 days and told us, oh, well, he actually has a pending felony charge for possession with intent to sell. If you don't fire him, then you're going to lose our banking services.
Wow.
And we're like, okay, I guess we're going to let him go then.
Well, yeah.
And,
now,
they do more intense background checks than what the state does, obviously.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that. Like the procedure for somebody who is interested in working in a dispensary, what can they expect as far as background checks, as far as the application process? I mean, how far do they dig into your life, just to get a job at a dispensary?
Well, so the thing is the state, they are looking into, I believe they go back about 5 years with the state. It's an average background check, nothing crazy unless you have felonies pop up on your file or something like that. Then, because of the way the statute's written, you would be precluded from being in the industry. But the thing is with the banking industry, we've all heard all the issues with the banking industry, but the big thing with them is compliance. And they have to actually have a whole other separate employees there for compliance of just their cannabis banking clients that they have. And because they are not willing to deal with federal investigations and everything else, they make it that strict and that difficult for you just to, and honestly, as shitty as it sounds, as terrible as it sounds,
just ignore it.
It's not a bad thing just because it's, they're protecting themselves and we need the banking. So we're willing to do what we have to do for the banking. Now, if we can get these expungements done, then, that could open the door for a whole lot more people as well.
Which, I guess I should talk about that a little bit.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, that's a good segue for that.
So on October 27th, which is a busy day,
yes,
we'll be having National Expungement. It's National Expungement Week. So here in Connecticut, we don't do expungements. We actually offer erasures, so record erasures. If you have a misdemeanor and it's under a certain amount of cannabis, if it's cannabis specific, I think it's an ounce. But if it's a felony or it's over a certain amount of cannabis, it would be a pardon that you'd have to apply for. So we're having it's still called National Expungement Week. So expungement clinic, but we will be doing free record erasure paperwork and free pardon paperwork. We'll assist you with the application processes. We'll have lawyers on site. There is actually developing. There's going to be like a panel of formerly incarcerated individuals, people who have already had their records expunged, and people who are facing difficulties because they aren't, just talking about what they've gone through. And it's going to be a really great day. So I was thinking like maybe you can, Joe, maybe you guys want to set up, because a lot of these people are also patient.
Well, I'll be at the school with the class.
You got to stay there all day. I'm not going to be there. Like I'm going to have it set up so it'll go with or without me. But it's a really important thing.
I probably will then stop by. It's where is it at now?
Terminal 110 on 254 Sergeant Drive. I believe it is.
It's not far from here at all.
Right off of the highway.
Yeah.
But this
and
is
we will talk about it again. We definitely will.
We got it for the end of the month.
Yeah, and this is all relative. This is exactly why we're doing it. We're doing the expungement so that people can engage in the cannabis. I mean, in life, forget it. Period. Get jobs without issues. But one of the reasons is so people can engage in the cannabis industry.
Yeah. Well, I've said this on the air before. I have something on my record, and hasn't held me back in normal life. But, if I ever did want to work in a dispensary, it might be a good thing to learn about how to take care of that.
Yep. So, yes, definitely. We'll all, whatever people who can't come, we'll make sure we share information, and many of the lawyers are willing to refer.
Right. So it'll be a good day. And, Brian, we've got your class coming up on the 13th. Well, as a matter of fact, you've got a couple of events coming up this week. This Wednesday night, we have the medical marijuana patient support group, right? You'll be there I'll be there. That's
at Bohemian High in Milford at 7 o'clock.
Right. So that's a good place for people who want to learn about the program, who are already in the program, to sit, support each other, talk about the medicine, talk about what the good and the bad of the program, and just try to give each other suggestions. I've gotten a lot of great information from the people there.
And sometimes it's nice just to talk to other people that kind of understand what's going on a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys are great hosts. It's always nice to have good
and Rich and Gloria.
And Rich and Gloria. That's where I was segueing right into that. Rich and Gloria are great people, and they're awesome hosts as well. So so let's go out and support the team.
7 o'clock on Wednesday, and then on the 13th is your class, the Patient Dispensary Services. That's going to be right up here on Temple Street in New Haven, downtown New Haven, not far from here. Same place we had the last one. That starts at 10, right?
Yep.
And then the normal meeting. You'll be there, too. I mean, you seem to be at all.
Brian's everywhere.
I am everywhere.
The normal meeting, October 17th. Right now, it's still at the rough draft, although they had an issue with flooding. I'm assuming, since nobody's told us anything else, that they will be back open by then. But that's October 17th at the Rough Draft in Hamden at 7.
And if you're in the Milford area, I know that Bohemian High, Rich and Gloria are taking
the bus trip. That's right. That's a good thing to mention.
You're in the southern Connecticut area, you can always just hop on the bus there and make it on up to Hamden.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. If you're in the Milford area and you want to hang out on the Bohemian High bus. And, Brian, are you going to be riding up with us, or are you going to go up yourself?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll ride the bus. Why not?
Why not? We're meeting at Bohemian High at 6 o'clock, and we're going to ride the bus up to the normal meeting, as long as
just come pick me up on the way.
On the way.
I'll stand outside.
Why not? We just tell Rich, come on, we got to get Kebra.
Oh, that's going to be a cool bus.
Yeah, it'd be fun. And we always have fun on the bus.
Cool bus ride.
Yeah, that's a good time. And So there's a lot going on. Then, of course, on the 27th, we have that expungement clinic, and we also have Kibra's class, which is the medical marijuana class. And I think next week I'm going to announce a couple of new classes and new events. I just got to get the dates up for the rest of the year.
And what do y'all think? Like, Brian, you chime in on this. I want to have, it's my birthday.
Yeah.
Like, in a couple of Fridays on the 12th, October 12th. So I do accept gifts and Cash App. Not just joking. But I'm having a party. I mean, I want to have a party, I think, at the office.
Let's have one.
And let's have all our cannabis friends come and vend and
show
their stuff.
Is there anything else on the 12th going on?
No.
Why not?
Let's have a showcase at the office.
Or at least a party.
Yeah, but I want people to be able to show their stuff and make a little money too at the same time. And
let's put an invite out.
Yeah.
Let's see for Kiva's birthday party.
Yeah.
I like
12.
It.
Happy hour time.
Right before the night before Brian's class.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, so we will let you all go at 7, so you're not.
Yeah, no, it'll be like a little reception party.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, 4 to 7 or
early
something.
Morning,
yeah.
early evening.
I love that 4 to 7 on the 12th. We're gonna have a nice little reception. We'll get our vendor friends if you want to come out, grab a table, talk to Joe.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
And we'll have a little table. We'll have some wine. We'll have some CBD. Keep it nice, easy peasy, and celebrate.
Maybe we can get Shirley to do some massages.
Well, you'll have to call her. That's your girl.
That.
You guys, I've never had a Shirley massage.
If anybody wants to bake any cupcakes or anything,
I will accept edibles
or non-medicated.
Non-medicated, yeah.
You know,
talk to that chef from Friday night,
or not.
Yeah, they might not be medicated, or they might. But yeah, chef? We should have a little snack or something. We can definitely do something.
I'm turning the big 4 too. Like I'm becoming an old lady.
Oh please.
I'll spring for some herbal tea.
Give me a break. I don't want to hear about age from any of None.
Well, y'all were supposed to say how I don't look 42. That was
you
like
don't.
That's
why we're just brushing it off.
Yeah, you know where
I would have said 52 for sure.
Oh, shut up, Brian. Me and Brian got beef all the time.
And Brian, I understand. Like you and I have been talking. We're going to try and put together a CBD seminar.
Yes.
That's strictly about CBD, and then we're working on that. That'll be coming up
nice
soon.
networking nights in the work as well.
Nice.
There's a lot of
just CBD straight up.
A lot of people want to know about that.
Yeah, it's a nice class that'll go very well as well.
Yeah, so that's in the works too, and that's probably one of the things we'll announce next week.
Okay. We got a lot of announcements coming
for
up
next week. Well, the calendar, we had to fill this room. You know, we got this room.
Oh, I didn't even
to fill it.
say that NECAN is coming up in Maine this weekend. NECAN in Rhode Island in 2 weekends. So
what other little events we got going on?
That's it, because we're about to run out of time here.
Yeah, well, I'll be speaking in Rhode Island. So if anybody wants to come up to Rhode Island,
that's
NECAN Rhode Island
weekend,
the 20th.
Yeah, the 20th.
Oh, and I'm also speaking in Philadelphia at a conference on the 19th. So that would be anybody in Philly that's listening.
All right.
Yeah.
Come on through.
So we got a lot going on in the month of October.
And
if you are listening online, this is a good place to say, hey, share this,
and
like
we're looking for sponsors for the show, too.
Yes.
So please contact us.
We're looking for
y'all know y'all want me to say a commercial.
Yeah,
do a live read.
Listen to Joe's. He's got a radio voice. Joe
All right. So I think we got to go. It is about time to get off the air.
We appreciate everybody. Brian.
Hey. We'll see you Wednesday night and at the class on the 13th.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you all. Thank you, guys.
You too, buddy.
Brian.
Thanks for calling in.
Thanks, Lou. Thanks, Joe.
See y'all next week.
Yeah.
Love y'all.
Bye-bye.
I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I'm in Cali every week. I go hard. Rowan said he got sour, need that whole yard. I'm chasing turkey bag. I'm chasing gold yard. Tell us down we won't go far. Blue sherbet stuff the whole jar. 100 P's on the Bay Bridge, stuck in traffic. If I ever run in a reread, let's make